Today we have a quick update on Baba Yaga. Titan Ponpon made a post on Twitter stating that they're working on the issues from PTS, including potions not being fireable, old shots, and the Morrigan. He doesn't mention the other bugs, but I'm pretty sure they're working on those as well because I talked to Capslock about this. They also announced some changes to Baba Yaga already, buffs more specifically. So first of all, the tooltip for the first ability was wrong. It was listed as 75 to 275 with 75% scaling. It was actually 85 to 285 with only 65% scaling. The old burst damage was also labeled as having 30% scaling, but it actually has 25%. But what is being changed now is that the damage of a first ability is increased from the previous value that was labeled wrong. So from 85 to 285 to 100 to 300. So 15 base damage from the first rank onward. And then the scaling is increased back or reduced, depending on how you want to look at it, from 65% to 70%. This means that her early clear will be a fair bit better because that is your main clearing tool and her early pokes through that as well. This change comes as a little bit of a surprise to me. I do agree that her clear with the one is definitely not the strongest, but I honestly thought it was intended to be that way. I thought she was intended to have somewhat weaker clear at the start and then offset that through having a higher damage potential in later stages of the game, especially through her stacking mechanic. Aside of this damage increase, people asked in the replies if the damage numbers will be going up further and if especially the speed on her secondary ability and old projectiles will be increased. Ponpon stated, "We will see, but it's unlikely. With a lot of fixes to some of her clunkiness and a stronger, more reliable early game, she will feel stronger than she does on PTS. Afterwards we can look at that stuff, but I think it's okay. Those skill shots are more demanding and leading given their frequency." Somebody else asked thoughts on how fast the 2 comes out in the throw. It seems almost impossible to hit because the travel time is so long. Ponpon said, "We spent a long time fine-tuning that internally. If it is too quick, it becomes 2 sources of seemingly undodgeable attacks. Would probably look at making it more rewarding versus making it easier, but we need to see." He also compared the ability to Vulcan Meatball, which has similar timings apparently when it comes to throwing the ability. Now, I am fairly certain that the reference to Vulcan here only refers to the projectile speed and the throwing portion of the ability. I may be wrong here, but the total interaction, including pulling out the potion first, definitely did not feel as quick as a Vulcan Meatball. This may be a PTS and lag issue, but I highly doubt it. I think the second instance of this ability here slows it down significantly. And if that is the case, then I would hope that there would still be some adjustments down the road, because I think having a relatively slow projectile with this long wind-up time is still not a good feeling. Even if they increase the damage of the 1 and then potentially even increase the damage of the 2 along with that, it would just lead to more lucky burst situations or her damage being too uncontrollable and strong when the enemy is CC'd. And yeah, with the ult I can honestly understand it even less, because it's very clear that the ult does not work very well in many situations right now. But it seems that so far Ponpon has his mind set on this iteration of her abilities. I personally am unhappy with that because I think a lot of people are just going to dislike how she feels and then not play her even though she might be a strong character. So I would rather see a different approach, but I'm guessing we might just see the same situation as we saw with Yemoja and with Mulan, where both had the complaints on the PTS already. With Yemoja it was the speed of the 1, and with Mulan it was the lack of any defensive tools in the ultimate. And those were all brought up and then kind of addressed a few patches down the road after the general player base had complained about them a lot as well. I think this is a somewhat more dangerous approach with Baba Yaga due to the randomness of her kit and the potential to have very high damage. So I'm not a fan, but it's their choice, and if that's what they want to do, then I can't change anything about it. I also wanted to make a small correction regarding yesterday's video. I made a mistake there regarding the 3. So I assumed that the 3 doesn't have a movement speed increase because the description doesn't mention anything about it, but that's actually incorrect. When I played it on PTS, I always thought I was just lagging because it felt weirdly jittery, and I guess to some degree it was lag because I was playing on high ping and it felt more weird, but there is actually a movement speed increasing and decreasing mechanic in the 3. So when you use the 3, initially your movement speed goes up a lot, and then up until the time where the pod explodes, it goes down even below your normal movement speed. I don't know if that means in combination the distance traveled as much as walking. I'm assuming it's a little bit more, but I'm not sure because diminishing returns play a factor as well. So it might be that it actually covers the same distance as just running, but it might be that it's a little more as well because it goes fast at the start and then slower at the end. I don't like how this mechanic feels on ping at all because it just feels like lag, but there is at least some sort of speeding up component to it, and maybe it feels better on normal ping. Can't say that yet. With that, thank you guys very much for watching. We'll have another video later today, so if you want to stay notified for that and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell. It helps me out. And other than that, see you for the next one later today. Hopefully we'll be able to finish that video. Duke Sloth, out.